Hi, Bob Leda here, and welcome to this episode of Stepping into the River. This week we're focusing on what you go through when you're playing something difficult or demanding. We have a saxophone player who's working on a new piece, and this piece has to be played very quickly. So you'll see what he goes through and how he tends to compress himself when things become tough. We offer some alternatives to this compression, and he decides which of the three that he likes the best, whether to hold himself out, whether to embrace the compression he feels, or whether to take it and then move it through the middle of the top of his head and down through his tail, and you'll hear the difference. So take a look and take a listen, and we'll see you on the other side. Okay. They're here to offer insight and illumination into how you go about playing. So we'll do, our usual stuff. Compare Ben's top half to bottom half, his left to his right. Where is his home? Where does he go when he finishes a phrase? Front half to back half, what you catch about Ben's breathing, and where your attention goes when he plays. That's the usual stuff. Is there anything in particular you'd like them to hone in on?
What I'm kind of working on this semester with both my PI and my RP is tune learning, and specifically having to do it quickly, just in case I have to do it like right before a gig. So I just started working on this tune yesterday on purpose.
Oh, great.
It's really fast, and I think I can play it kind of at speed. I'm not warmed up yet, so we'll see.
Okay, so we'll see what it's like to have a piece where it's a challenge to play, and Ben's learning it, so that'll be a great one to see. I can start this up for you if you want.
Sure.
Okay, and then I'll get out of the way. So let me know when we're good.
You're good.
Here we go. Where did your attention go on this movie you were playing?
For stuff especially like this when it's like really fast and my fingers have to exert themselves a lot more just to, for some of the fingering combinations, they're
Yeah.
just really rough. So my attention actually goes into my kind of oral cavity and my throat because as soon as these start to tense up, this just
This will
goes.
go, and
and
it may even be vice versa.
Yeah,
You know,
as soon as this
goes,
tenses, this goes.
yeah.
And so it's like, if I keep this open, which I had an issue doing, that's why I couldn't breathe as big of breaths, and then my fingers would start to get tight, and then, so it kind of became a spiral.
Ooh, now we're gonna do something completely different after you said that, Ben. You were so great. Okay, you said so. Oh, thank you. Well, no, you feel the constriction, and the immediate thing is, if I can keep this open, you know, I gotta sort of do something to keep it open. I want to get in my bag and get my little ball that we're going to use, and who knows how this is going to look on camera. Okay, we use the earth ball, right? All right. So I'll be off camera, you'll be on camera. Have a sense of the shape of your awareness as we toss this back and forth. And see if it changes when the ball comes closer to you. And you all watch and see what you see. Now, did it change? I do that harder on purpose. Did it change when you sort of dropped it a little bit?
Yeah, I felt kind of like that, not like your heart's stopping, but
Right.
like that kind of chill, like
Yeah, like, and it
tense.
became smaller, right?
like a flinch almost.
Yeah, and that's the same thing that you probably feel in your throat when it feels constricted. So we're sort of modeling that. So we're going to try 3 different strategies. First strategy is the one that you've been trying. I'm going to keep it open no matter what. Right? So you're going to keep your awareness really open and still catch this. I'll start easy again, and I'll make it a little bit tougher. Keep it open, and you're doing a great job of that, right? So how did you do with keeping open? What did that feel like?
I'm trying to put it in words. Time almost slowed down a little bit more.
Okay.
That is
No, I believe, no. Subjective time is different from objective time, and there is a relationship between time and space. This is when Einstein had it right, you know, and if you, like we were talking about in this morning's transition, if you more fully occupy that space, subjectively it'll feel like you have more time. So you're finding that, that's a great one, right? Our second, yeah.
In a way, it felt a bit more like proactive, even though you're like keeping yourself calm in your reactions, you were like preparing for it more in a way.
Okay, oh, that's good,
In
yeah,
your-
right. Acknowledging that it may happen, since that's sort of what we're modeling here too, that's great. Second strategy, which I used to use with my pal Sid Yip when we played doubles together. If we're going down in flames. So if you're gonna compress, you're gonna compress from as far away as possible. No halfway measures. So rather than holding it out, it's whoa, bring it on, bring it in from everywhere. Okay, so it's gonna be ride inwards rather than hold outwards.
Could you explain that one?
Sure. You felt the flinching happening and your awareness contract, right? So rather than trying to hold it out, which is what we did last time, it's it's going to contract. I'm going to bring it in from every place. I'll go super contraction
Okay.
and see where it takes me. Okay?
Okay.
Good luck. Those nasty chairs. Is that a different experience?
Yeah, and it could just be how you're throwing the ball, but it's more. It feels like there's less way for me to kind of see where it's going before it gets there.
Okay. And how did you do for heartbeat, shape of awareness, all that kind of thing?
I wasn't really paying attention.
Okay. I mean, you looked calmer to me. That's why I was asking.
Could be psychic myself.
Could be.
Like, I'm
We're going to go to the third strategy, though. Have you ever spit a watermelon seed? No. Has anybody spit a watermelon seed? Oh my goodness gracious. Thank goodness there's people that have done that. Anyway, you put the seed in between you, and spit it out like that, right? Because the pressure goes this way and the seed goes that way.
like that.
So that's what we're going to do with the compression. The compression comes in and you're going to, in essence, spit it right through the middle of the top of your head and right through your tail, like so. And since we're tossing back and forth, we'll both do that sound effect because it's fun to do that sound effect anyway. And we'll see what happens.
Okay.
And
Oh, I do when you do it too.
what was that like?
I mean, I think both of us definitely moved a little bit more,
Mm-hmm.
but it didn't feel constricted, but it also didn't feel like
Super voluminous.
yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's what I wanted you to try, strategy 3. When you feel the constriction, is to reroute it, follow it in, reroute it from the top of your head and through your tail. And we'll see how it goes. Because the constriction is going to happen, especially when you're learning a piece. Yeah, I think we'll leave it at that rather than complicate with something.
Sure.
Oh, was that loud enough?
Maybe a little louder.
Yeah, I thought so. Okay. Now I'm going to make arrow keys like you said.
Slow it down a little bit.
Oh, okay.
That's all right.
I was about to ask, is there any way that Ben could play one course like pretty slow, so you get more of an idea of I kind of want to see his breathing as it's affected with him playing it more like maybe do boo do 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 boo do 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 boo boo do boo do boo do boo.
That's more of a musical technique practice thing,
That's
which
true.
does have its insights around it. What I'm trying for in this one is a high-speed movement one, which is practicing a little different thing. So if you don't mind.
No, yeah.
No, but it's an excellent idea to vary, that's sort of an effortless mastery thing too, where you vary the pace that you're practicing at, find the pace where you can handle it, and then gradually increase it, Okay. let me know when you're ready, Professor, and we will do the watermelon seed thing when all of this goes on, because that's what happens. Come on in, whoever that is. I don't know where you need to put it. There we go.
Ooh.
It's
Okay,
on in my general field too.
here we go. What did you see? What? Whoa! Look at those hands go up. Scarlett, you go first and then Bella.
Okay. This was about like channeling the feeling of constriction, I guess. I feel like you channeled it really, really well. I noticed it in your soloing especially. It was a lot more lyrical the second time around, and it just felt a lot more. You had a lot more room to express yourself that way.
Well, I was gonna say, going off of that, you felt more like it was more relaxed. So your notes sounded a lot more intentional instead of just blurbs of reactions from your fingers because it's fast. It sounded really nice and intentional. Also, I don't know if this is because the stand was higher, but when you were rocking before, your neck tended to lean forward a lot, and it was out of alignment with your spine. So that's why I saw the stand, because you kept like looking down, and it was like a hunch. But this time you were rocking, but everything stayed in alignment.
Yeah, that's what this watermelon seed thing should do, so I'm glad you saw that.
So yeah, you just looked way more aligned, more grounded, and it was great.
Thank you. Anybody else? What'd you catch? You got a thumbs up over there?
Thumbs up. Honestly, I mean, you were just more straightforward. I mean, in the terms of, it may have been the stand too, but you
Yeah,
looked
I
a
don't
lot
think
more
so.
grounded. You looked a lot more.
I know. Yeah. No, the stand could have been lower and the same thing would have been.
Yeah, but either way, you just looked a lot more straight, and not straight in terms of like locked, like but in terms of grounded, in terms of having like this base. It felt like you weren't.
So I'll get you in a second. Yeah.
You
I'm
weren't.
going to rephrase that. The line of the response to gravity coming up through him was more direct. Yeah, Ethan.
I also saw that the shoulders weren't as tense as
Mhm.
before, and you were more comfortable with your performance.
Elena!
Okay, cool. First of all, when you started, your sound was so much more in the space and resonant to begin with. And then I saw like a whole bunch of other stuff happening with like the watermelon. I've never done that before thing. But the biggest thing I noticed, because I was talking about your heels before, is this time when you were rocking, it felt like you were going onto the ball of your foot and then onto the heel of your foot, whereas before you weren't going on the ball of your foot.
I'll put that in other language as well. His feet were less rigid,
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
and so we were able to take on this. Was that a different experience for you?
Yeah. I'm trying to line everything up. Getting a second shot at it is definitely helpful, especially when you haven't played today. But also, I think just kind of talking about being open and like just doing quick little exercises to kind of visualize that within my own perspective, other than just open your throat.
Yeah,
You know, like, or
right.
stuff like that, which is like what they always tell horn players, is like, oh, stay open. It's like, gee, thanks.
Yeah, I don't think that works.
No.
I don't think that works. But this rerouting thing does.
Yeah.
And that's sort of essence of Alexander technique, that you're easy with your head and your spine, and energy goes that way, and energy goes this way, and you have a fullness. That was remarkable, that you got that so quickly. And I think this will be an interesting sort of exercise for you to, acknowledge the inevitability of these tensions coming in, but if you can get them moving and moving through here, then it works out okay. Give him a big hand. That was great. Great. Hi, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed seeing this one. I find it really, really fascinating. The tendency for us, as you saw here, when something tough is coming up, is to compress, go into a protective shell, and how we respond to that really determines a lot of stuff for us. One of the comments you heard from one of the students was that it felt like he had more time. And it's an interesting thing. When you occupy more space, you will feel like you have more time. They do correlate quite closely. And our recommendation to embrace his tendency to become smaller and have it move up through the middle of the top of his head and down through his tail encourages this. Thanks for being here this time, and we will see you next time through. Okay, bye for now.